What up, dude bros? I'm Frank. This is a video review of the Accustrike ammunition. The Accustrike series is new from Nerf, and it's kind of a replacement for the Nerf Elite Dart. It's like a new line. Instead of Elite, it'll be Accustrike, kinda sorta. I'm breaking the performance down to range or chronograph readings, groupings, and longevity. Starting out with the chrono data. So if you buy the Accustrike darts, are your existing blasters going to shoot harder or softer? For the tests, I used two different blasters. This is an unmodified Nerf Strife, and this is an unmodified Nerf Tri-Strike. Why two? This one's flywheel powered and this one's spring powered. Because the propulsion mechs work differently, sometimes they accept or deny darts a little differently, as I covered in my last third-party dart comparison. I shot 12 darts with each blaster with each ammo type. I also threw in Nerf suction cup darts just for the levels, and because it's a viable alternative to the Nerf Elite Dart. Normal Elite averaged 68 feet per second. Elite Suction group average was about 68 feet per second, and Accustrike average was about 66 feet per second. While the Accustrike darts did shoot a little bit softer than the other darts, it's not really a dramatic decrease, and it's not going to make or break your overall performance and range or accuracy or anything like that based on the chrono data. Conclusion, the chrono data, it's all good, bro. They're effectively the same. Pretty much. Next part, the grouping. So how well do the darts group? I've mentioned this in the past, but I'm gonna try to refresh your memory. If you're shooting at me from whatever range and your grouping is this big, that's bigger than me, and you fire 10 darts, some of the darts are gonna miss and some of them are going to hit me. Whereas if you had a more precise blaster and dart combo and you had a much smaller group, pretty much every time you pull the trigger, it's going to hit me, assuming I'm not dodging like a total ninja, which I would be if we were actually nerfing. But a tighter grouping and a more precise dart will allow you to hit your targets more often. So, on to the test. Unfortunately, I don't have a massive space inside my home and I didn't want to have wind to be a factor, but I marked up my blinds with painter's tape at 1 foot intervals just to give you a sense of scale, so you can see how much these darts are spreading. And I put a target indicator at the top of the target, and this is supposed to indicate where my barrel is actually pointed, and to show you the viewer where I'm actually pointing, because it's difficult for you to tell unless you put a camera in my eyeball. And no thank you, NSA, I'm not gonna let you do that. I know your satellites are up there spying on me. I'm not gonna give you a camera in my eyeball. So to circumvent that problem, I zip tied a laser pointer to a modulus barrel extension. This is put into the angle of the rail, so it is straight, and more importantly, it's a really tight fit. So the laser pointer is not zeroed, and I want to make this point really clear. I'm not measuring how closely the dart can get to the laser pointer. I'm just trying to articulate where my barrel is actually pointed when I pull the trigger. Because in a test like this, I could say, oh, this one's more accurate because I'm really still, and then I shoot the suction cup darts left-handed doing this, and I'm like, oh, I can't hit anything. Well, duh, the human error in that test is really obvious. So the laser pointer is supposed to show some level of consistency. On to the video test. Okay, so I'm going to break down my opinion on these groupings. First, the Nerf Elite darts. Here are the spring results. Here are the flywheel results, and I'm just going to composite them as something of an average. So these are pretty scattered, but that's to be expected because Nerf Elite darts are awful. And in my firing test videos, when everybody's like, hey Frank, you can't aim, you're bad, you're terrible, just look at these results. You have no idea where the dart's actually going to go, regardless of where you're aiming. So if I can't hit a cup at 20 feet, it's barely even my fault. It's mostly the dart. That's my story, I'm sticking to it. Those are the Nerf Elite darts. Now to the Nerf suction cup darts. Spring results, and I'm compositing the flywheel results. As you can see, better than the standard Elite darts. There is some up-down variation, but Elite versus Elite suction cups clearly win there. Now to the Accustrike, to the spring, and compositing the flywheel, noticeably tighter groups. The occasional flyer, sure, but the groupings are significantly noticeably tighter than both suction cup and Elite darts, which is fantastic to see. And Orgy composite, just everything put together. Tactical rainbow. Oh yeah. As you can see with the dot compilation there, the new Accustrike darts are actually more accurate than both the suction cup darts and the Elite darts. Honestly, I'm pretty surprised. Now, I thought they were going to perform better than the Elite darts because almost everything ever is going to perform better than these. These are just, get out of here, you're so bad, just stay in the corner, you're bad. But to defeat the suction cup darts, that's surprising. Again, tighter groups mean statistically the dart is more likely to land where you're actually aiming, on a guy's chest, instead of flying by and leaving you one dart short of killing that zombie. And to the last chapter, unfortunately, I don't have the data to back anything up but the longevity of the dart. I only have 6 of these Accustrike darts because I just got them with the Falcon Fire pistol. I have not yet seen these sold individually in large packs for me to go through, 100 or 200 of them and really stress test them. But so far, they seem to be wearing just like normal Elite darts, which is, minimal. When you step on them, they're gonna crunch because they are just foam Nerf darts. But the suction cup darts seem to wear kind of faster than other darts I've used, which is kind of a bummer. It's just when the head mates with the shaft here, when the head mates with the foam tube part, there's some type of vulnerability there, so they wear out a little bit. It doesn't seem to affect the performance in springers quite as much, but flywheel blasters have a harder time to grip that head, and that's really where the performance is coming from in a flywheel consistency. So you might see decreased performance over time with the suction cup darts. Not huge amounts, like they don't fall apart, and usually people cycle out their darts before that point anyways, but it's worth noting. I haven't seen that wear and tear on the Accustrike dart, which is nice to see. Overall, I can say this is a superior design to the Elite dart, but again, everything ever is, because the Elite dart's just terrible. They shoot hard, fine, but you can't hit anything ever with them, unless it's an accident. And there's always that one guy saying, no, Coop, you just suck. I'm a freaking sniper. I guarantee it's selection bias. It's because you're firing 35 darts. You're like, hey, I could shoot this playing card from 30 feet. You shoot 45 darts at it, sure, you're eventually going to hit it, but you're not a freaking sniper for doing that 1 out of 40 times. And as my grouping test showed, it doesn't matter where you're pointing. It has nothing to do with your performance as a shooter if you actually strike or miss your target, assuming you're aiming near them. Even if you measured the precise central tendency there and you aimed right there, it's probably not going to go there, because if you compile the average, almost none of them actually are average. Like the average American family has like 2.4 kids. Yeah. What does 0.4 of a kid look like? I don't know. But my conclusion, should you go out and buy them? Maybe, but maybe not. There are still third-party alternatives that have the same performance at most likely a lower cost. I can't say they're cheaper because I haven't seen these sold separately, but if they're along the lines of any price that Nerf has ever sold ammo at, you can still get ones from China that are much less expensive. For example, the Accustrike Gen 3 darts, and I am going to be making another updated video with more alternatives because the market is just being saturated on Amazon now and eBay and all over the place with alternative Nerf darts that are very cheap. And spoiler, I've actually already tested a few that perform just like these, and they're really affordable. Awkward conclusion because they are good darts, but maybe not the best bang for buck. That's a story for another day, for a complete video, and I'll be nerding out with my little dots and my pretty illustrations in that video as well. But if you're gonna rush out and try to fanboy all over the Accustrike line, the blaster is not any different really than an Elite blaster, other than, the lack of blue. It's the darts that give these blasters their precision and quote accuracy. That is my comprehensive review and comparison of the Accustrike ammo by Nerf. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and hopefully you learned something. That's it. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the section below. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, stay tactical.